Hey guys, so this is Miss Green's first YouTube video, and today we're going to be talking about a new concept in math, and that is elapsed time. So time is something that we measure, and in second grade you guys should have learned to tell time to the nearest 5 minutes. And in third grade, we're going to also be working on telling time, but another skill we're going to be working on has to do with elapsed time. Okay, an elapsed time just means that's time that has passed between events. So finding out how much time has passed in between events that have happened. Okay, and so a couple things to remember with time. Remember that 1 hour is 60 minutes, and half an hour is 30 minutes, and then a quarter an hour or 1/4 of an hour is equal to 15 minutes. So throwing in a little fractions there. So when we look at the clock, the whole clock would represent 60 minutes, halves of the clock represent 30 minutes, and then each quarter of the clock represents 15 minutes. Okay, so here's how we're going to solve for elapsed time. So I have this example problem here. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through the steps of how we're going to determine elapsed time, and I tried to think of one that was going to be a little bit more simple as our first one. Okay, so it says Reese had soccer practice last night. It began at 5 o'clock and it ended at 6:15. How long did practice last? Okay, so just like with any other word problem, our first step is to identify what the question is asking. Okay, and our question here says, how long did practice last? So if I'm writing my answer sentence, okay, down here, practice lasted blank. Okay, and I don't really know if I'm going to be determining hours or minutes yet, so I'm just going to leave that part blank. Okay, so the next step is to draw our number line. So with finding elapsed time, the tool that we use is a number line. Okay, so first what you're going to do is you're going to draw your empty number line. Okay, and then you're going to look back at the problem and figure out if we know our start time and our end time. Okay, so back in the problem, we know that her practice began at 5 o'clock, so that's my start time. So I can go ahead and write that here. Okay, and then our end time, we know that her practice ended at 6:15, so I know my start and my end time. Now, we won't know that with all problems, but for this one, we do know it, okay? So now we're going to start making our jumps on our number line, okay? And this is kind of similar to when we use subtraction on a number line. So we start at the smaller number, or in this case, the smaller time. And first, we're going to see if we can jump hours first, okay? So I see that I'm at 5 o'clock. If I jumped 1 hour, that would be 6 o'clock, and I can do that. So on my number line, I'm going to jump 1 hour, and I always label my jumps. I label at the top what I jumped, and then down here, I label what my new position is on my number line, okay? That's very important to label both of those. Okay, then here I have 6 o'clock to 6:15. Well, I know that all that has changed is 15 minutes. So I'm going to add that 15 minutes here and label it, okay? And I've arrived at my end time. So now my answer sentence said that practice lasted blank. So that's where I'm going to look back up here, what I filled in on my number line, look at my jumps that I made. So we're going to add up the hours and minutes. So we have 1 hour and 15 minutes added up. So I know that practice lasted 1 hour and 15 minutes. And that is how you find elapsed time using a number line.